and a super. No, stop. No,
We started.
No, we
Okay.
haven't.
Oh.
See, look what happens. This is what I said.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Good.
We fixed some technical issues.
Really? Looks real fixed to me.
There we go. It's because I was
Fair
turning it
enough.
on. Okay. So today,
All right, this episode is sponsored by
Starbucks
V8 Energy Black Cherry.
and Starbucks.
Caitlin, you don't drink Starbucks, you drink water.
I know, I drink water out of this cup.
Not
okay.
this.
So we're going to discuss our top 10. Oh God, I accidentally just looked at your number one. I'm so sorry.
What the?
That's on my.
Stop!
Okay, so we're gonna be talking about our top 10 favorite shows. And by favorite, we've decided.
You ruined the whole list already, the fact that you looked.
I knew that was gonna be on your list. Okay, but it's fine. They don't know.
It's not fine.
The audience. The way that we decided what favorite was, at least for me, I factored in how good the plot was of the show, how like nostalgic it is to me. So like there's some shows that like obviously just make me think back to my, childhood, and also rewatchability. So if it's easy to rewatch and if you want to rewatch it. So that's how I
Agreed.
Or like if you like showed it to someone, would you want to rewatch it with them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into it. I'm a YouTuber.
All right, Philly D.
Oh, we also have 5 honorable mentions each because
Okay.
there's a lot of shows in the world. So I'll start first with my first honorable mention.
Right.
My first honorable mention is American Horror Story. I think I told you that already, that you knew that. Because I love horror. The reason it didn't make my top 10 list is because each season has a different degree of
Weird.
goodness, or like how good it is. So like season 1, top tier, everything else not as good. But like season 1 of American Horror Story, really good.
I think a lot of people would disagree with you on that.
I actually don't.
A lot of people like The Coven.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's bad, but I just think most American Horror Story fans would agree that season 1 is the best. But we don't need to debate that. That is one of my honorable mentions.
Next up on my honorable mentions list is Legends of the Hidden Temple.
What is that?
Now, let's all go back in time. You sit in front of the TV, boom, before school, and on Nickelodeon you have Legends of the Hidden Temple, where it is like this obstacle course show in the jungle with this like mysterious like head or whatever, and they all do like these obstacle courses, and then eventually there's a winner on like the 2 teams or whatever.
I remember.
Incredible show.
I never
Incredible.
saw it, but I remember it.
Fantastic show. Most entertaining thing you could ever watch. So that's on my honorable mention.
My next honorable mention is Criminal Minds. I love like dramatic.
That means SVU is somewhere on that list.
I love, spoiler alert, I love dramatic crime shows.
Surprised we've never watched Criminal Minds. I used to watch Criminal Minds.
Yeah, I'm surprised we never watched it together. But I mean, I watched basically every episode when I was like a teenager, and it was the kind of thing
It's
that I
still
would
coming
binge.
out.
Oh, I didn't know that, honestly. But
Or at least it just ended recently, I'm
but
pretty
yeah,
sure.
there's other
in the last
shows
5 years.
like it that I like better, so that's why it's not on my top 10.
That was me.
Is it me?
No.
I'm gonna do it right.
Next up, I have Rick and Morty. What can
Spoiler
I say?
alert, that's on mine too, so I can just skip one of mine.
What can I say? Rick and Morty. It's one of those shows where you just kind of turn your brain off. Lots of fun.
Smart humor, like intelligent humor.
Intelligent humor to an extent, but then some of it is just so random and weird that it's just like, what the hell is going on? But overall, very funny show. I enjoy it. Newest episode was pretty trippy, but yeah, that's why it's on there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
That's also on mine. Okay, I'm gonna get hate from you and other people for this.
Okay.
This isn't on my top 10, but it's in my honorable mentions, and it almost was in my top 10. Friends. Because so it might not have the best plot, but it is so rewatchable, and it's the kind of show you can just put on, forget about what's going on, and just kind of like zone out and watch it. You can watch any episode, and you don't have to really know what's going on, and it still makes sense. It is funny. Love Joey. It's honorable mention.
Yikes. Next up, I have Breaking Bad. I debated putting it in my top 10 list, but so far we haven't even finished it. And really enjoying it. Very good show. Not even just suspenseful, but there's just so much stuff that goes wrong. And it's just the whole interworking connection.
Learning a lot about drugs.
Methamphetamine, specifically. Next.
So I already said Rick and Morty. So you can... How many more do you have? You have one or two
One
more?
more.
Okay, so my last one, I also really was close to putting this on my top 10 list. Pokemon.
Understandable.
Because literally that was my childhood. I grew up mostly with my brother and my cousin, who are both boys, younger than me, but close enough in age that I wanted to hang out with them. And we all collected the cards, we collected the figures, we literally did everything.
Fair enough.
And the show was great. I could still rewatch it. It just makes me think of childhood.
Did you cry when he gave up the Butterfree?
I don't remember that. I'm not a true fan. It's not in my top 10.
Fake.
It's my honorable mention.
Anyways, I have Blacklist up next. Thoroughly enjoyed Blacklist. Not only is it suspenseful, but it builds on this overarching plot line with all of these individual episodes where you kind of just cascading throughout all of the seasons. Very well put together, very enjoyable, great show.
Okay, getting into the actual list.
The top 10.
So, okay, hopefully other people will understand this.
Okay.
My number 10 is Arthur because, okay, that is like the highest nostalgic value. I loved Arthur. I'm not saying it had the best plot, but it taught me half of my moral.
It taught you your moral compass.
Partially. So the reason I watched so much Arthur is because I spent a lot of time at my grandma's house, she only had the basic cable channel, so we watched a lot of PBS. But Arthur was so great. I would get so excited whenever it came on. I would get so pissed when it would end and a new show would begin. That was some Rufus Dogs game show thing. But yeah, Arthur is great. There are certain episodes I definitely could rewatch. Our children will watch Arthur.
Number 10 for me is Attack on Titan. This is an anime, for those of you that don't know.
How many in your top 10 are anime? Just wondering.
Most. I would say most.
Like all of them?
I'd say 80%, 70%.
So 7 or 8 out of 10.
Glad you can do math. Yeah, Attack on Titan, incredible show. Manga was very well put together. And then when they adapted it to anime throughout all of high school, very well done. I've been following it since early on, but storyline very original, which is something that you can't say very often sometimes. Very original concept, very well put together, and looking forward to the final season coming up soon.
Yes. I watched part of it and I do like that. Okay, number 9. I think some people would actually be surprised that this is low on my list, but so Game of Thrones.
Wow.
It would be high. The show was great and you really got invested. That's the issue with Game of Thrones, is you got so invested in the characters, especially a certain character named Jon Snow, and then the ending just was
Now I want you also to remember
the biggest letdown.
You remember we're in the Thai jungle?
Yeah, we watched it.
And we
in
watched
Thailand.
it.
Yeah.
And you were defending the ending.
Because I was trying to hold on to something.
I ripped that ending to shreds.
Yeah, it sucked.
I was so disappointed.
That's why it's number 9 and not higher, because it would be higher if the ending was good.
If they decided to write
how it was supposed to be, yeah, and didn't rush it and then get fired for Star Wars.
Next up on my list, number 9, I have Code Geass. That is also another anime. Now, Code Geass is, think of it like this. Now, some people have access to this power.
In the eye?
It's like the little symbol that shows up when you use the power. Anyways, and when you use it, they get a power and whatnot or whatever. But ultimately, it's a story of how a high school boy uses this power to try and move up in the world and fix injustices and whatnot across the world. So think of it as 5D underwater chess. One man against the world trying to change how the world works. It's very, very well put together. Very entertaining.
I'm surprised you made me watch it.
I've recommended it.
Okay, so my number, what number am I? 8?
Yeah.
Is Black Mirror.
Oh, Black Mirror is good. That could have been an honorable mention.
Yeah, because I do like it. Also would be because I think the show has a great plot. Like every episode is so unique and so good.
Yeah.
And most of them I could recommend to someone to watch.
Yeah.
But it is all very dark, and that's the only reason it didn't get higher, because like it's not like at the end of it you have like a warm fuzzy feeling. You usually have like, oh gosh, the world is gonna blow up or something. Robots are taking over. But it is really interesting, and I'm excited for the next season.
And all the episodes feel like that they could be possible in the real world in the near future.
They're just realistic enough.
It leaves you uneasy almost, because it's like you could see that happening.
Yeah, and in some of them they have happened, like the social ranking.
Number 8. I have X-Files. Now, I go back and I think Scully and Mulder. I think about the family. We're all sitting on the couch, set up, boom, and then the couch over here and the recliner over there. We're all watching it together.
All four of you watch it?
And we grinded it from start to finish. Fantastic show. Mulder's dry humor. Absolutely loved it. And I mean, just fantastic show overall. And then you still have that overarching plot line. Top tier. Top tier.
I actually would like to watch that.
You would enjoy it.
Okay. Number 7 is Grey's Anatomy. This is also like almost nostalgic because I was probably like 14 or 15 when I watched it. I remember me and my friends just like binging it, especially during the summer. We would just watch like tons of episodes.
True.
But it definitely, I'm not saying it's an accurate portrayal of the healthcare system or like a doctor's life, but it definitely made me more interested in the healthcare system. Yeah, and also I have very controversial opinions that I don't like Meredith and I don't like Derek, but I still really like the show, and I like just all the medical stuff. Yeah.
Fair enough. Number 7. This is a show that we're actually watching right now. Hunter x Hunter.
It is good.
Incredible show. World building, character development, laughs, sadness, action. Great overall storyline. Very easy to binge. Very enjoyable from start to finish.
Super easy to binge because the episodes are like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that is the one upside to Anime Anyone, is usually the episodes are about 20 minutes. But fantastic show. Cannot recommend enough. Music, great. Animation, great. Absolutely love it.
Okay, my next one, number 6, is This Is Us. Okay, I wish I could get you into this because I just want to sit on the couch with you and cry and watch This Is Us.
I cry too easily. I can't watch shows
honestly,
like that.
Yeah, it is. Every episode, I literally would just be bawling every episode by the end because it's just so heartfelt, so relatable, so sad, so touching. Like, it makes you appreciate your family. It makes you think about people you've lost. It was one of those shows that definitely touched me, and I need to get back, like, caught up again. I stopped watching at the end of the last season, and I need to watch the newest episodes, but I already know I'm just gonna be crying, so.
What if I make a Kung Fu Panda 4?
Okay, next.
Sorry.
So random.
I just think that probably should have been in my top 10. I love
That's
Kung Fu Panda.
Movie.
Number 6. We have Teen Titans. Now, not the crap they're putting on TV these days. Not that. The original Teen Titans. Now, when I tell you artwork, that show, fantastic. Was part of it kind of dark for a child to be watching? Maybe. But not as dark as something that I'll talk about later. You have the overarching plot line and then like the small episodic kind of conflicts in each one. But it's very well put together. Incredible soundtrack. And then each individual character kind of had their own storyline of problems and whatnot. And overarching problems trying to solve. But very enjoyable show, and I loved it as a kid. Something I grew up on.
Nice.
Thank you.
My number 5 is Lizzie McGuire. Probably similar.
I knew that was going to be up there.
Well, because it's probably similar to your Teen Titan thing. Like, I grew up watching it. I just felt very connected to Lizzie. We both had a younger brother. Her younger brother was more annoying than my younger brother. But we both, like, it was just like a nuclear family with a younger brother. She didn't completely feel like she felt it, like she fit in school. I just connected with her, and it doesn't really make any sense though because she's gorgeous. So it's like, how is she not popular? But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, love Lizzie McGuire.
Number 5, SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, when I sit there and I think about SpongeBob, I have I just had like a tinnitus moment in my right ear that caught me off guard. Sorry, it's just ringing.
Because it's too quiet in here?
Well, no, it's only my right ear, not my left ear.
Okay.
So that just really caught me off guard. Anyways, I think about my humor and how weird I am. And then I look back and I watch SpongeBob. And I realize I think SpongeBob formed a lot of my humor, as well as just being a sarcastic person.
There's some people that weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob. I feel like some of my cousins weren't allowed to watch it.
Yeah, SpongeBob, I just love the show. It was one of those things where it's like you could not even just binge it, but every morning before school you watch it. And then
it's one of those things where like each episode is its own little movie, and you don't need.
It's the opposite of what I've been saying about the others. There's no overarching plot line. It's just every episode is independent of itself. Fantastic movie came from it as well, but just overall, it's one of those things where you really just turn your brain off, and it's just the dumbest humor you can possibly imagine. It's great.
Yeah,
big fan.
My number 4, we're getting into reality television. Big Brother. You had to know this was probably in there.
Yeah, I thought so.
So, because
I thought it was gonna be lower down actually.
Well, it has a very high nostalgia factor because my mom, my brother, and I would basically that is one thing that always connected us. We would watch every season of Big Brother together.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I love Big Brother. If you don't know what it's about, it's basically a bunch of strangers are put into a house, and every week there's competitions. People get voted off. There's no outside world access. You can't use technology. You're just stuck in this house with people you don't know, and you have to form alliances, and it's just very interesting, and I love the drama.
Number 4, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, when you think of a nostalgic show, I would say Avatar: The Last Airbender for a lot of you probably comes to mind. And I would say that was probably one of the 2 shows that I think of that were animated and similar to anime that kind of got me into that whole shtick. Very relatable characters, fantastic plot line. Uncle Iroh is truly an inspiration to this day. And I just think it's one of those shows where it's bingeable.
They just put it on something, didn't they?
It is going to be on something very soon.
Hulu or Netflix?
Yeah, on like May 16th, 17th, something like that.
Okay, my number 3 is Full House. I love Full House. Probably the highest nostalgia factor I could get, because even though it's an 80s show, I think I watched it every weekend growing up. I think it was on every Saturday, and then it would be on, there would be marathons, and I just, it's so wholesome. It's not like those other shows I was talking about where at the end you're the world sucks. At the end of this, you're life is great, the world is great, I love my family. Full House is just wholesome and funny, and really, it's like Friends, where you can just watch it and you don't need to know the context of the whole show. You can just watch an episode and like it.
Number 3 for me is Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's high on your list.
The reason that I put it so high is that, when I included Breaking Bad earlier, I don't even know the ending to Breaking Bad yet. And so I like to think of Game of Thrones the same way.
We do know the ending.
I like to think that wasn't the ending. That was just corporate bullshwimp pushing it along because they wanted to write for Star Wars, which eventually busted. And well, here we are. But I just think going from, the first 5 seasons or whatever, absolutely incredible show. The character development from Tyrion was a personal favorite, just seeing his arcs throughout. And he's just the overall world building. Jon was obviously a very relatable character. Samuel Tarly, another personal favorite. Loved seeing, he was probably the most relatable for me. Just a good guy.
Sam.
Very nice. Enjoyed him. And I just think they did a great job with individual character development, wrapping up into the overall world kind of story and world development, until it all came crashing down when they decided to contradict themselves episode after episode and just throw stuff in that made no sense. But if I take out that last part, could have been number 1.
Okay, my number 2 is The Office. This has the highest rewatchability factor. Literally, I could rewatch The Office every day and find an episode that I still find entertaining.
Gabe also put The Office pretty high up there.
Who?
Gabe. when I asked him.
The Office. It has slight nostalgia because I do think I also watched it when I was in high school. I think we watched it a lot when we first started dating. Like we would just like when we hung out, we would just watch random episodes or like have it on the background when we're talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is so funny. The later seasons kind of go downhill like once Michael leaves, but like seasons 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 are perfect. All the characters, they're so different and so funny. Yeah. Everyone has seen The Office, so I'm just talking to everyone knows what I'm saying.
Number 2. It's hard to put number 2 into words and what it has meant for me, for many others. That's right. It's Naruto. Now I'm gonna share a story with you in the audience. Now, my mother was not a fan of something called Adult Swim. It came on after Cartoon Network at probably about 9 o'clock.
And she was right.
And the first thing that would play on Adult Swim was Naruto, every time. And now I remember the Chunin exams is where I originally started off watching. And I was watching it, and my mom walked in there, and Sasuke had just thrown a kunai, and there was blood everywhere while fighting Gaara. And my mom looked at me and said, "You shouldn't be watching that." Okay, Mom.
Wow.
She left, and I kept watching it. And you know what, Mom? I watched all of Naruto Shippuden. Absolutely incredible show, incredible character development. Are there flaws? Hell yeah, there are. But if you take nostalgia, you take relatability, and you just take overall story, I think just an absolute lovely, enjoyable roller coaster. But it was very dark, and I should not have started watching it as young as I was. But yeah.
Your mom's always right. Okay, number 1. Here we go.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, he said it earlier. Law and Order SVU.
I know it.
I couldn't think of a different show to put as number 1 because this show, I know this is, speaking of things you shouldn't watch from a young age, me and my dad would watch Law and Order SVU when I was like
Not
10.
good.
So I was learning about like sex trafficking,
rape, murder, kidnapping, human trafficking, a little 5-year-old.
Not 5, I was like 10 or 11. And I found it so interesting. It definitely made me more alert. I felt more informed. But also, just the characters are... Olivia is my...
Stapler.
Not Stabler. Stabler was good. But Olivia Benson is my hero. She is my queen. I just love Law & Order SVU. Every episode is so good. And there's always a twist at the end. Sometimes you can like figure out what it's going to be. Other times you're like, what? But yeah, Law & Order SVU, I think, is the best crime show. I would say Criminal Minds is my second, and then like Blacklist, Scandal, those are up there too, but SVU, baby.
Number 1. Now, I know I've been pushing the anime train for a long time now. The entirety of this list, really. But, number 1. Made in Abyss. Now, audience, I ask you, what makes the perfect show? Let's bring it together. I think of soundtrack. I think of characters and character development and character relatability. And I've always been more of a fantasy guy. I love reading fiction books and that. I think the world building, what is in the world, how is it created, is it interesting, do you get immersed? And then I think maybe animation or quality of, the cinematography. Made in Abyss, everyone I've ever recommended to, absolutely phenomenal ratings. I think she would agree.
When we watched it, did we watch it together for the first time?
No, I had already seen it.
Dang it, I thought
I had
experienced
rewatched
that together.
Hell no. It made me laugh. It made me curious. I was very absorbed in the world. You want to know what keeps on coming, how's the ending, what's going on. And it still hasn't ended, by the way. But it brought me to tears. Very relatable. You are very invested in the story.
It is really sweet. And like you said, the cinematography, even though it's animated, but just the way it animates the world, the different are so creatures, all that pretty. Stuff. Yeah, it is really cool. And the story, I'm not an anime hater, but I'm not like an anime stan, and I think it is really good. And one of the best soundtracks in any anime. Yeah, good music. In my opinion. Okay. Another honorable mention, Cowboy Bebop. Oh. Shout out to all my people. Yeah. I almost had Scandal, and I actually almost had that in my honorable mentions. Made in Abyss, yeah, but I had to take it out for some of the others. But that is our top 10. I have many more for us to do. Just wait.